Not many people can cross over from being a combat veteran to a Hollywood actor to the governor of a state unless, of course, you're Jesse Ventura. After leaving the world of professional wrestling, Ventura ran for mayor and then governor of Minnesota as an independent candidate, proving that defeating the two-party monopoly is possible. And since leaving politics, he's hosted his own TV show called Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura, and he's now a best-selling author. His new book is called They Killed Our President, 63 Reasons to Believe There Was a Conspiracy to Assassinate JFK. Well, he joined me earlier to break it all down. I want to get your take on this shutdown. Taxpayers elect Congress, they pay their salaries. Congress seems to have no disagreement on bombing countries and spying, and they know that they have a 10% approval rating. So how is it that they have the gall to hold Americans hostage indefinitely?
I'll tell you, it's beyond my comprehension. I don't know how. You know, these congressmen and senators, they shut the government down because they don't want us to have health care for everybody. Yet they themselves have 4 different plans they can each choose from for their health care. And is it not provided by the government? So isn't it government-run health care? The hypocrisy is astounding to me.
It is indeed, especially the GOP, cutting food stamps yet receiving millions of dollars of subsidies for their farms. Let's talk about your new book. You're promoting it called They Killed Our President, 63 Reasons to Believe There Was a Conspiracy to Assassinate JFK. Thank you so much for sending me this. I can't wait to read it. And the book outlines 63 reasons to believe this was a conspiracy. Can you elaborate on what you found to be the most compelling reason of all?
Oh, there's so many compelling reasons of the 63 that, well, I'll give you a few things. One thing the Warren Commission lied about, Jack Ruby and Lee Harvey Oswald knew each other very well. Jack Ruby had stated that he knew Lee Oswald since he was a kid. Now imagine that there changed the whole assassination, because the Warren Commission told us, oh, there's no connection. Jack Ruby killed him because he didn't want Jackie to face a horrible trial. Like we're all supposed to buy into that. And remember this, the only quote that Jackie Kennedy ever said about this, she said, "They killed my husband." They. She didn't say he killed my husband. She was plural. And then, there's so many, like, you've got the Katzenbach memo, which I lead the book off with because I felt that was so important. Mainstream media has never even shown it to the public. Nicholas Katzenbach was the acting attorney general Monday morning. Naturally, Bobby had lost his brother. He wasn't coming into work on Monday. So he was the acting attorney general. This is a memo from him to Lyndon Johnson, the new president. And he explains how in the memo, we have to make the public know that Oswald acted alone, that he had no partners who are still out there, conspirators who acted with him, and that he would have been convicted had there been a trial. All of this laid out in a memo. If that's not a smoking gun to the government's cover-up. See, 2 cover-ups took place, 2 conspiracies. There was the actual conspiracy to shoot JFK and murder him, and then there was the conspiracy afterwards to cover it up.
And it's so unfortunate that so much evidence has been destroyed, yet there are so many unanswered questions. I mean, how much is available that's more than just circumstantial?
Oh, there's still a lot. They're still withholding tons of evidence. Do you know what you can't get today? You cannot get Lee Harvey Oswald's tax return. Now, someone might say, why is that important? First of all, you'd say, well, why can't you get it? 50 years, that can't be national security. I'll tell you why it's important. If we could get Lee Harvey Oswald's tax return, that would leave a paper trail to who was paying him. And that paper trail would lead right back to our own government, because Lee Harvey Oswald was a low-level government agent.
Well, we know that
in fact, he was involved when he went to the Soviet Union. It's already been proven he was involved in what they called a false defector program that the United States government was running at that time, getting young guys to allegedly defect to the Soviet Union.
Jesse, a majority of Americans believe this. They believe that JFK was assassinated by a conspiracy. And also, a majority of people have questions about 9/11 also. Knowing this, how does it feel to go on shows like Piers Morgan and other shows on the mainstream media and to be ridiculed and painted as a lunatic for bringing up these issues?
Well, because we'll show you in the book that that was the CIA's mission to anyone that questioned it. That's how they do. They try to marginalize you. They try to make it seem like you're a conspiracy nut. That's where the mainstream media comes in, because they are also culpable in this deal. Because, excuse me, many times you hear, well, someone would have talked. Many people have talked. It's simply mainstream media won't report that they did. I'll give you an example. I have an audio, visual, and written confession from E. Howard Hunt from Watergate of the CIA. He did a deathbed confession to his son, St. John Hunt. We've got it all on tape. We aired it on my TV show. It should have been headlines across America. E. Howard Hunt admits he was part of JFK conspiracy to kill him. It didn't receive one word of mainstream media coverage, not a word that E. Howard Hunt had confessed to an outside participation. He even named who did it. You know, Cord Meyer of the CIA, Morales, who was, and I forget the other guy who was the head of the CIA's assassination team and all that. And where do we get off having CIA assassination teams? At what point in time did our country allow premeditated first-degree murder of someone without an arrest, a trial, and a conviction?
Seems like commonplace now, Jesse. You've also said, speaking of the CIA, that there are CIA operatives working in every state government. First of all, how do you know this, and what are they doing there?
Well, I don't know what they're doing there. How do I know this? Because as governor, I was introduced to the person.
Wow.
And they wear two hats. They work at a high level of government, but they don't come and go with governors or anything. They're there all the time. They do one job for the state, and they wear a second hat as a Central Intelligence agent. And what troubles me about that is, in the CIA's mission statement, it states they're not to be operational inside the United States. That's the FBI's job.
You know, speaking of extrajudicial assassination, I wanted to get your opinion on this, Jesse. Renowned journalist Seymour Hersh just came out saying that the bin Laden narrative is a big lie. Do you agree that we've been lied to about what happened to bin Laden?
I have a lot of questions, because he had a disease that had him on what are those machines
Dialysis
again?
machine, yeah.
Dialysis, yeah, thank you. It's been a long days. He was on dialysis machine. How could this guy be wandering around the hills of Afghanistan with a dialysis machine and we can't find him?
For 10 years.
Come on. Well, let's look at the whole 9/11 conspiracy for a moment. Here's what the government told us, that 19 Islamic radicals armed with box cutters defeated our multi-billion-dollar air defense system, all while conspiring with a bearded guy in a cave in Afghanistan.
You know, I just find it shocking that the American people don't demand evidence or any sort of closure about this event, that they've, you know, Obama campaigned on it, the death of bin Laden, killing this guy, no trial, nothing at all. Just really bizarre, Jesse. And as a former Navy SEAL, do you find it weird that SEAL Team 6, a group that embodies this extrajudicial assassination, has been glorified in the mainstream?
No, I'm upset that people even know about the SEAL Team, because back when I was in the Navy, they weren't even hardly known to the public. Now they've turned them into the Green Berets, movies about them, this about them, that about them. It was much better in the old days, where we simply wore green uniforms with jump wings and wore no other insignias at all to indicate who we were. And SEAL Team 6 was the highly secretive one. In fact, my good friend Dick Marcinko is the creator of SEAL Team 6. He writes all the Rogue Warrior books. And Dick's the one that created SEAL Team 6, the anti-terrorist unit. And I've had personal friends that have served in SEAL Team 6. They weren't even known. They wouldn't even acknowledge SEAL Team 6 existed. And now today, they're like every day, everyone knows it, everyone wants to be one, and Hollywood wants to exploit them.
Jimmy Carter, who said that the U.S. has one of the worst election processes in the world, pretty strong words from a former president. Governor, you've called for paper ballots to replace voting machines, but my thing is that, you know, we have the technology. Shouldn't we be able to use the technology that exists today? The problem is when the machines are owned by Mitt Romney or Bush or Obama or whoever else. I mean, really, what is the root of the issue here?
Here's the problem. and I'll disagree with you. We don't want these electronic voting machines because they can be hacked into like any other computer. Let me put it to you in a real easy sense. Would you go to a cash machine that didn't offer you a receipt?
No.
An ATM machine. Would you go to an ATM machine that didn't offer you a receipt? No. Well, why would you vote on a voting machine? You have no way of knowing. When, say you vote for Barack Obama and you push the button on Barack Obama, you have no way of knowing if Barack Obama, if that vote was registered to him. It could go to his opponent. And there's no way to have a recount, because all those machines do is they give you a number like an adding machine. 1,200 votes for this guy, 1,300 votes for this guy. Some things are better left old. How about paper ballots where you simply fill in the circle? My point is, you've been doing that since first grade. When you took tests in school, fill in A, B, C, or D. If a person isn't capable of doing that, they shouldn't be voting in the first place.
Good point. I mean, we've seen just extraordinary hacking into already over the past few years with these machines. And you've also said the Electoral College should be abolished. I couldn't agree more. That's an antiquated system. It needs to be completely removed. But we're almost out of time, and I wanted to bring this up, Jesse. You recently floated the idea of a Ventura Howard Stern 2016 presidential ticket. Can we get this confirmed right now? You have the floor. You can make the announcement right here.
Well, it takes Howard. I won't do it without Howard. And there's a method to my madness. I need Howard Stern. Number one, I despise raising the money. It's bribery. It's legal bribery, what our system is. And you know, you bribe the candidate. You give them money. That's how you get in. You know, if you do that in the private sector, you go to jail. But we have an entire political system based upon bribery. Well, my deal is Howard can raise the money. Then I don't even have to pay attention to the money. I'll do the governing, let Howard raise the money. And also, when I ran for governor of Minnesota, I had a statewide talk radio show. When I filed to run, I lost my job. I had to go 6 months unemployed because the FCC won't let you. Howard Stern is not with the FCC, he's with Sirius Radio. We can use his radio show to be our platform to the United States of America, and it would cost us zero in money. I find it obscene. My father once said to me when I was 16, a World War II vet, he said, you know, all politicians are crooks. I said, come on, Dad, you can't make a blanket statement like that. How do you know that? He said, easy. He said they pay $1 million for a job that only pays 100 grand.
Oh.
Think about that a moment.
Very smart man.
No one in the private sector would ever pay more money for a job than what they're going to earn. That's the status quo, except for Jesse Ventura. When I ran for governor of Minnesota, I only raised $300,000, and I made $480,000 my 4 years in office, $120,000 a year. So I actually made more money doing the job than what I spent to get it. So if my father would have been still alive, he could say, my son is not a crook.
Everyone, you heard him. Everyone needs to get Howard Stern on board. Thank you so much. Jesse, the Body Ventura, awesome to have you on. They Killed Our President. Everyone check out the new book, 63 Reasons to Believe There's a Conspiracy. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.